All right, step 4. Let your child know that it's okay to ask for help and to try new ways to do things. Promote what we call a growth mindset by helping them experiment with new ways to do things. By doing this, you're actually preparing and promoting their resilience for the future. And here's a tangible way to show your child they can always think and process differently. Coach them to understand, even at the youngest of ages, coach them to understand that their brain is eager to grow. It's eager to get smarter. It wants to be challenged, and it revels in finding new patterns and new ways of doing things. So the more you challenge it, the better your brain is going to serve you. Now, some of us are wired more strongly to the logical, rational part of the brain. We're good thinkers. We're good, steady problem solvers. Others of us have a stronger connections to the emotional and the reactive part of our brains. Oh, we'll do a little vote. All right, okay. So whose natural inclination is that they're a very logical and rational problem solver? Wave your hand about for me. Okay, it's pretty cool. Okay, thank you. That was excellent. Who knows that their natural reaction when they're not thinking and in a good space is more along the lines of emotional and reactive and pretty impulsive? Yep, well done. And I guess that makes my point. This is what we work on with our kids. Just as you in your journey have now figured out where your natural inclination is, we start to work with our kids. And we start to talk to our kids that sometimes we are impulsive. And it's the frontal lobe that actually has filters that slows us down. And that's why we buy time quite often, and we teach kids to do things that buys a little bit of time. Go for a walk, do something different, take 3 deep breaths, take 10 breaths, sing a little song in your head. So most of us over the years, we've gradually trained ourselves to access that logical, rational part of the brain because, well, bitter experience has taught us that this usually does give a better outcome. And as our kids get a sense that what their naturalistic tendencies are, the idea of actually taking charge of their brain begins to emerge. Suddenly, they begin to see, with a little bit of practice, they can think more flexibly. They can use a wider selection of tools instead of just that naturalistic one tool. The idea is to introduce them. Here we go. That's what I think I need. The idea is to introduce them to cool, weak, and aggro or angry toolboxes shown here on the screen. The cool tools with the red circle around it brings about peaceful solutions. And these include tools such as being calm, even when under pressure. Wanting to make peace and focusing talk on understanding each other's point of view while trying to find a resolution. In our What's the Buzz Early Learners program, we use the term wise owl. A wise owl always tries to calmly talk through the problem, find a way to fix it. They'll look for new peaceful ways to deal with it. And this may include getting some wise advice from a trusted friend, from a mum, from a dad, from a teacher. A wise owl is a flexible thinker and asks himself or herself questions as, what if I did this? What might happen next? What else could happen? What if I chose to do something different? Then what's likely to happen? How would I feel about it? How might they feel about it? Now, I guess I should teach you, just as I teach the kids, what wise owl looks like. So you will need to stand up. Wise owl is a very gracious creature, so make sure you get your wings out, because wise owl has beautiful wings. Don't hurt the person next to you, okay? And the other thing that you can teach your kids about wise owl is it has beautiful tail feathers, so you need to stick your butt out. And on 3, I'm actually going to ask you to go hoot, 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 because that's what wise owl does, right? So it'll be hoot, hoot, hoot. And you'll be flapping your wings at the same time. Sorry, guys, we've got to multitask. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hoot, hoot, hoot. Oh, you're good. Okay, grab a seat. There are also tools in another toolbox, and we call this one the weak tools in the not so good toolbox. They include not saying what you think, sulking, crying, avoidance, giving up, giving in. Oh, I should make something really clear. You think I'm talking about the kids. So I'll give you a little scenario. I could give many, but this is just the one that I'll give you. Okay, a little scenario. So you've had a falling out with your partner at home. Once again, he said something insensitive. Something that you would have hoped you could have twigged to by now. So, when he's in one room, you move to another. You don't look at him. You don't give him eye contact. You don't speak to him. You don't do any of the nice little things that you'd like to do for him occasionally. And you start to read your novel that you haven't read for months. And you sit down in the lounge, and as you sit down on the lounge chair, something sticks up your bum, and you think, what's that? Oh, it's his remote TV controller. Well, you put that back down and sit on it. So, that's Scared Squeaky Mouse, by the way. And it's interesting that in a forum like this, we all agree that that kind of behaviour doesn't actually solve a problem. It's a reaction to a problem, but it doesn't actually solve a problem. So scared, squeaky mice, they don't face problems, but they run away with their little eyes cast down. They feel sulky and teary and defeated. And you know what I'm going to ask you to do, don't you? Oh, yes, stand up. That's it? Oh, beautiful. Okay. And you will need to bend right over and look at the floor, because you don't look at anybody. You've got the downcast eyes. And on 3, I want to hear you go squeak, squeak, squeak. But actually, I don't want to hear 200 people go squeak, squeak, squeak. It needs to be so soft. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're very good. That was very good. In fact, you're almost rivaling the kids. And of course, the last toolbox is the aggro or the angry tools. These tools form very aggressive behaviours. They're quick, sharp behaviours, and they're stressful and they're harmful to everybody around. They include shouting and swearing and threatening and name-calling and punishing and hitting and pushing and kicking, writing mean messages, teasing, put-downs and bullying. Angry bulls deal with their problems very poorly. And they huff and they puff to get their way. Oh yeah, they make a lot of noise, don't they? Okay, up you get. Last one. Last one, I promise. Righto, angry bulls, you've got to get your horns out. Beautiful. And angry bulls actually paw at the ground with their hoof, and we're going to have 3 paws as we go roar, roar, roar. 1, 2, 3. Roar, roar, roar. Gotcha. Oh yeah, you knew it'd be followed by a quiz just to check whether you got it. But this is the same quiz that you use at home with your kids, because your kids need to be able to identify that there are 3 very different styles they can draw from when they're feeling stressed or there is a problem that they need to address. Okay, so here's how we play our silent quiz. You can play it exactly the same way at home to help your kids find their assertive skills. I'm going to read out a problem. You're just going to listen to the problem. Your task is to work out which animal likely tried to solve the problem. You don't have to stand up. You can be lazy and cheat, because I think you're amazing that you're still awake. Okay. Robert was shocked by what his brother did. So Robert smashed his brother's Lego tower. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Roar, roar, roar. Got it. Oscar was annoyed with his sister, so he wouldn't look at her or talk to her. You're good. Louise got the paper towel herself. She wiped up the milk she spilt over the floor, and then she poured herself another drink. I'm liking it. Sally saw Emma put her new ruler in her school bag. She loved that ruler. She never said a thing. Oscar kept on getting poked by Tamara, so he turned to hit her on her arm. Which animal was Oscar? Roar. Oliver couldn't do his schoolwork, so he put his hand up, waited, and asked the teacher for help. Oliver sounds just like me. Oliver couldn't do. No, I'll go to Dom. Dom was sitting by himself at lunchtime. Raffy gently sat next to him and started a conversation. Dom said, "Go away, this is my seat and it's where I sit." Roar, roar, roar. Excellent. You're not bad.